In this video, we'll work on sculpting a skull, like the T-Rex skull that you see here in front of you. And so let me just go ahead and close this file, and we'll open a new one. And the way that we'll do that is by clicking on the yellow menu button here, and we'll go to File, New, Start a Blank Sculpt. Okay. And let's see. The first thing we need to do is bring in our reference images. And we can do that by clicking on the down button on the joystick up here on the left. And we'll go to Add Image. And we want that one. Yeah, I'm going to use the grip buttons on both controllers, the yellow grip buttons, and grab both at once in order to scale this up to be bigger. And let's add a new image. We want this one to add. Again, I'll use the grip buttons to move this over and make it bigger. Add image. And which one do we need still? I think it's, which one? I think it's this one. We'll see in a second. Add. Is that right? Nope, I already got that one. Let me undo that. Add image. And we want this one now. Right, okay. We'll just put this one over here. And, oh, what's that one in the back? That's all right. I'm not going to worry about it. Let's go ahead now and turn on our mirror plane. And I think we do that by clicking on the, which is it, the up button on the left joystick. And we'll go to mirror. And you can see that our mirror plane is here in the space, but it's back behind my reference images. I have to again hold down both the yellow grip buttons in order to move this up and relocate it. And I'm going to put it over the top of this reference image and make it about that size. Okay, so that defines our mirror plane. And let me also, while we're in setup mode, I'll go ahead and move the location of my light. Right, the way I do this is by clicking down on the left joystick. And in the scene graph up here, we're going to select light. And so now you can see that our light actually shows up there. Now, I don't think that is a very great place for a light. It's much better for sculpting if the light is over your shoulder, kind of like this. Yeah, I think that'll work pretty well. And now I think we're ready to get sculpting. So let me close this by clicking down on the left joystick. And on the right hand, the right controller, I'm going to click on the green gear. Wrong button. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Click up on the left joystick. Right now we're set to the move command. Let's change to clay. And I want to get rid of this tooth. Let me change it to, by pushing on the green gear, I'm going to select the sphere. And let me make sure that it's also set to continuous. And I've changed the color to be more like a green-gray. You can do that if you'd like to. And yeah, I think we're ready to go. So I'm going to scale this up just by using the right joystick. I can scale this up or down. I'm going to make it about the same size as this piece of bone here. And I'm going to draw kind of a flat version of this skull here on this plane, just to rough it out. Okay, and now by using the grip buttons on both controllers, I can pull this to the side and look at it from a different direction. Now, if I put this here with the other image and I make it about the same angle, you can see, actually, I think this might be a more helpful one to look at. You can see that the skull is not thick enough. And so let's add some material in the places we need to just build it up some in space. I'm going to scale the ball up a little bit, the clay ball, and that needs to come out. It needs to come out a bit. And the jaw needs to be quite a bit wider as well. You can see it looks a bit lumpy, and we haven't done any smoothing to it. Let me undo that. We can start to flatten some of this out by holding on the left trigger, and I'm going to pull on my right trigger in order to use our smoothing tool. It's almost like a little blowtorch. Get rid of some of these lumps. I don't like to get too carried away. I actually kind of like some of the bumpiness. Um, it keeps me from getting overly perfectionist if I have some irregularities. So I like to keep that kind of that evidence of the process there. We add a little material in here. Something doesn't look quite right about it. I think what might be helpful is to switch over to the Move tool. So I'm going to click up on the left joystick and select Move. And so we can make the sphere, the radius, uh, larger or smaller by using the left joystick and moving it up or down. And what needs to happen? It looks like this needs to come out a bit. And this is kind of implied by the way that I'm working here, but note that I've got my sculpt kind of in the same orientation as my visual reference. That makes it a lot easier to tell what you need to do to it. Oops. Needs to be a bit bigger. Okay, let's turn it this way. Oh, it looks like this needs to come down some. Yeah, something's not quite right up here. Maybe this needs to be wider. And I think we also need to have an indentation here in the center. So we can do that by, I'm going to click up on the left joystick and select clay. And now I'm going to, on the right joystick, or the right controller, I'll double click on that green gear on the top. Note that my sphere turns red, which means it's going to take away material. So the reason I'm hollowing this out is I want to build it up with new material. Let me smooth this out some. Okay, and I'll double click again on this green gear to make it additive. I think I got a little carried away there. Maybe I need a smaller sphere. There we go. I'm not going to get too carried away with the details here. I just want to show most of the main features of using the program. You can see it's starting to get a little choppy there. That's because the resolution is not high enough. Let's actually step up the resolution now. So I'm going to click on the, which button is it? The down arrow, I believe. Did I do the right one? Settings. Still getting used to these menus. So it's not this menu, not the top one. It's not, where is it? Oh, that's for the light. I see. I see why it's doing that. So I need to select my sculpting layer here. And then, let's see. So I push the down arrow, the down button on the left joystick in order to bring up this menu. I make sure that my sculpting layer is selected. And then what we can do is we can go to, under Actions, we can go to Increase Resolution. Now, this shows us the voxel size. If we click on that button, you can see how it actually makes the grid smaller. It gives us more voxels. It gives us more resolution there. Now, the finer I make this, the more detail I'll be able to put into the form without it breaking down. However, there is a performance cost. So if we were to crank this way up, it could potentially slow down the program and make it want to crash. You see how much smoother that is now. Okay, and let's put some teeth in now. And we'll do this on another sculpting layer. And so to do that, we'll click on the down button on the left joystick, and then go to here, Add Sculpt Layer. Okay, and we can even get really fancy and rename this by clicking on that button. And let's clear, and then type in teeth. If I can spell teeth. Okay, enter. All right, and we'll click down on the left joystick to turn that off. And now let's get a tooth shape. So I'm going to click on the right gear, right gear, and then we want to go to the stamp menu here, and let's go under organic and select that form. And we want to change stroke type from continuous to single. And what this is going to do is when I click, it'll give me a single tooth. Let me undo that. The reason that we're putting this on a separate layer is it's going to make it really easy after we put the teeth in to change the location of these teeth without affecting the shape of the skull. Okay. I would be a lot more meticulous about sculpting this if I were doing this for a real project. I'm just going through it quickly just to give you a sense of how this can work. Okay. And let me show you how we can move those teeth now. So if we, on the left joystick, or the left controller rather, I'll click up on the joystick and select move. And you can drag some of these teeth out. You probably would want to set the resolution of the teeth up higher. You can see how it's getting a little bit grainy on the end. It's breaking down because the voxels are too small. Set this way down. We can drag a tooth out. So you can see how it's not affecting the shape of the skull at all because it's on this different layer. Now, if I want to go back and do additional work on the skull itself, the way I have to, uh, um, um, the way I can do that is by going back to our menu, by clicking on, which button is it? The down arrow on the left joystick, and then we need to select layer 1. So that gives us this layer as our current sculpt layer. And I'll click down on the left joystick to turn that menu off. And now we can go back in and modify this form further if we'd like to. So that's a quick introduction to how to make a skull in Adobe Medium.